Got your cup of tea, mate.
Cup of tea.
Got your cup of tea, mate.
Tea.
Hi, I'm Eric the Red.
I'm Rickshaw Tom.
And this
is News for the Caffeinated.
Now, as you can see, we're still in our ramshackle, unfinished studios, and I wish I could say that we've done some work since the last time you saw us here, but we haven't.
Hashtag priorities.
On the plus side, I did cobble together the last shoot that we did at our old studios at 362 in Burlington, so that's up there now.
If you haven't seen our Surge video, then go up there and watch it, like,
please.
now.
Please.
Go.
But one thing I always ask of our audience is that they reach out to us with their requests of things they'd like us to do. And there's one that has been requested to us for a while, and we keep kind of ignoring it because
we're terrible human beings.
Well, that and just the fact that I think it's boring. We've been asked to put our professional spin on coffee and tea, traditional caffeine sources. And it's just like, it's so subjective. It depends on how you prepare it and all this other stuff. So you know what? Whatever. It's been requested. And Josh, we're finally going to do it.
Oh, this was all for Josh.
Well, it was coffee and tea. He requested it. He's
hit
requested
that guy
it a few
in
times.
the face.
So, but in any case, we're doing it, but we're doing our own little twist on it. Instead of just doing whatever we want to do in terms of coffee or tea, we're doing a very simple, but I think appropriate approach to it.
I think so too, because let's face it, there's so many coffee and tea snobs out there that we wouldn't be able to encapsulate it in one episode, so we're just going to go bare bones to begin with.
Exactly. And because
it's as simple as it can
as much as we like to pride ourselves on, we're the caffeine experts, we tend to do a lot of our reviews on stuff that we find in dollar and discount stores that really didn't make it in the normal retail market.
This show started on energy drinks, and it's mostly on energy drinks with some side stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, we brought back YJ Stinger, which we picked up at Family Dollar, and
freaking Surge.
I mean, who else is going to do these crap products? So speaking of something that that a lot of the coffee drinking world considers a crap product, tonight we are doing instant coffee. Instant!
But it's not just a crap product, it's also the name brand of crap product. So it's shit, but it's the high quality shit. It's dirt, but it's the high type with lots of vitamins and minerals, and I can't compete with that.
So I read a clickbait article a couple of weeks ago about the best of the worst, and it was about instant coffee, and they went through all these different types, and they decided amongst their peers that the Starbucks Via Instant is the best instant coffee on the market, and then stuff like Taster's Choice and the freeze-dried crystals and all that is like at the bottom of and that's stuff my parents and grandparents used to drink.
So that's one category that we're doing here, but we've also got two other subcategories we're doing.
Yes, we are.
And what that is I have a cup in front of me, Eric has a cup in front of him. Eric has got cold water.
Yes.
He prefers his coffee cold brewed, and you know what, I do too, but I'm also on the lazier side, so I tend to drink my coffee hot. Now, full disclosure, I've drank about a quart of shitty Aramark coffee just to get through the end of my work day today. And I probably shouldn't be drinking caffeine now because I have about 12 hours before I need to go back there. But
one plus I like about this product is it comes individually measured. So we're not going to over-caffeinate ourselves.
But do both of these cups have the same amount of water in them?
Yours has 4 ounces extra.
I better drink this water then.
Mine has exactly 8 ounces in it. Tom's has 12. Because I didn't know how much we were going to lose from the heating process, because we ended up having to heat it 3 times.
Not
it took
much.
us a while to get here. So, in any case, these are really made for like 8 ounces, which is pretty much 3/4 of coffee mug, because they leave space for creamer and sugar and things that we are not going to put in our coffee. But one exception we may make, if it comes down to it, is the small addition of salt if we find it too bitter to drink. Because the small addition of salt, as me and Tom were taught years ago...
Yep, this was by my godfather, Hackett, may God rest his soul.
...is that tiny little bit of salt undoes the bitter nastiness that you can sometimes get, especially with instant coffee.
If you've got terrible coffee, just a tiny pinch. And that the stuff that makes it bitter is attracted to salt, and it'll sink to the bottom, which makes for a very bitter end to your cup, but the rest of it will be primo.
It turns shit to palatable. So
Yes.
if we need it, we've got it here.
I'm going to do it anyway, just to see what happens.
Well, I'm going to try it on its own first, and then we'll...
Shall we begin with yours, or should we
Let's just
both
mix
move
them
in?
up.
Yeah, why not?
For all I know, this isn't even...
How do I even? Is there a notch?
You just rip.
Okay.
It says tear here.
Uh,
You're trying to open it like a Slim Jim, but you're supposed to just rip it across. So, I mean, it smells
says
okay.
tear
It
here,
smells like
but-
instant coffee.
aha, there we go.
I have no idea if this will even dissolve in cold water.
I follow directions.
So,
We each have our individual spoons. I don't quite understand instant coffee though. What do? Do they brew it and then like dehydrate the coffee itself and then make it into a powder? How do they?
there are actually two methods of preparing instant coffee.
Is this getting
One-
too sciencey?
Oh no, I happen to know how they do it.
Oh, thank God.
While we're
'cause
preparing this,
I
I'll
got
just
nothing.
explain it. There's one method which is it's literally freeze dried. They boil it down to a concentrated syrup, which they then spread out on these drums at negative 30 degrees, and it basically turns into this sheet. And then it goes through a vacuum oven, which pulls all the water out of it, but retains the aromatic nature of it, and then it's broken up into little crystals and packaged up. That's the freeze-dried method. That's the most common
I
method.
hate to say this, but I'm picturing those bits of Breaking Bad where they pour out the syrupy crystal meth and then they put it into the freezer and then they hit it with a hammer a bunch of times. Is that what they do?
It's more or less what they do.
Oh God.
And then the other method
Is the crystal meth of coffee.
is
Don't quote me on that.
they literally again they boil it down and then they I can't remember the other method. Whatever, it doesn't
I'd
matter.
like to point
It
out
doesn't
this
matter.
smells really good.
It does. It smells decent in here.
It smells like a Starbucks. I mean, more so than... there's a certain air quality in a Starbucks as opposed to other places that just sell coffee. But maybe it's just because they are exclusively coffee and it's hard to find other places that are exclusive.
And it's also saying something in this room because even though you can't see, the floor is torn up, the wall panels are missing in a lot of places, and it smells like wood and construction in here.
Insulation, all that
But
jazz.
all I can smell is coffee right now. Even
It's like
the
the air...
iced coffee smells great.
The air quality is just like every coffee shop that focuses intensely on coffee, not just like donuts and coffee.
Yeah.
It does not smell like a Dunkin' Donuts. It doesn't have that sweetness to it. It's just like
Where are we at for time?
coffee.
And I will note this. I was concerned that this wouldn't dissolve in cold water. There is not a single speck of solid coffee left in this glass.
Good, good.
So
We've got 12 minutes left.
awesome. I was all rushing, but well, let's to good health.
To caffeine.
We'll sleep when we're dead.
Enjoyable.
Yeah.
So, got the hint of bitterness to it. This is Columbia roast. I don't know if...
Yep, this is medium roast. When I went to the store to pick this up, they only had two varieties. They had medium, and then they had French roast, which is super dark. And that's, as someone who doesn't drink coffee very often, that doesn't really do it for me. It's just, that's too much burn for me.
French roast is?
Yeah,
Yeah, because that's super dark.
yeah. But it's also worth noting, because we are news to the Caffeinated, that it is a common misconception that dark espresso roasts have more caffeine. They do not. The process of roasting, where they cook the beans until they get darker and darker and darker, the darker the roast, the less caffeine, because it burns off.
That's
So something
fascinating.
like blonde roasted coffee, very lightly roasted, lighter in flavor, lighter in taste, more caffeine than a dark, dreary, metal, brutal espresso roast.
Blacker than the blackest black towards infinity.
Yeah, so if we're looking at this in terms of music, you're going to get your money's worth listening to pop instead of black Scandinavian Colombian metal.
It's the flavor aspects too, because you expect that something that has such a more intense flavor is gonna be a higher concentration of all of the ingredients, but instead it's sort of like Sort of like a Jello shot. If you put the water in too hot, then it'll burn off the alcohol. But since they cook it for longer, then you're saying that the caffeine becomes airborne.
Yeah, when you get down to like French roasts, you're like 98% of the bean is burned. I mean, you can correct me if you work for Green Mountain Coffee Roasters or some other place, but when it gets down to that, you're really like, there's a lot of burnt oils and astringency there, and you've cooked off a lot of the caffeine. It is a volatile compound.
No, I don't know if it's just the fact that it's a medium roast, or if it's like that we have a process and we had to mix this together or something, but I'm feeling more awake now than when we first started this. Maybe I just needed a little bit more caffeine at this point in my day or my life or in general, but it's...
And it's good. We're drinking this black, and it's fine. I don't have a problem with this.
No, I would just throw 2 creamers in there, but that's...
But just the fact that it's so easy to drink.
Let's switch off.
Yeah, before we mix it up.
Yeah.
So, I go to the Shakespeare mug, and you just go to the Boodle Black Nathan Explosion mug.
This is just a black mug. Wow. Yeah, one of the main purposes of doing this little experiment here is to check the same product with a hot versus cold process. That is very good.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot more of the intense bitters after that. Not to be saying that it's bad, it's just more bitter than what this is, and you're not getting this bad. Fuck.
But this isn't bad. This isn't as bitter as I thought it was going to be.
That isn't bad. That's good.
It smells like it's going to be bitter, but it hits your palate, and it's like, nah, we're cool, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
but that one is more like the friend that shows up to the party that you're not quite sure about. Is like, yeah, we're cool, but on the way out, just looks at you and goes, hey, fuck you. That's the bitterness that comes with it. But, you're still glad that they showed up to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised.
Very.
To be honest, I'm surprised. And, I kind of did this in a tongue-in-cheek fashion, to be like, okay, Josh, you want us to do coffee? But no, in seriousness, this is really good. And it probably has something to do with the fact that you get 8 of these packets in a box. Is this coupons?
They look like coupons.
Earn stars towards free drinks. Well, maybe.
Dude.
But anyway, you get 8 of these in a box, and this was like $7 or so in change. So you're paying like $1 a piece. So,
shit.
But again, it's $1 a glass. It's still cheaper than going to Starbucks.
I'm a little curious what would happen if I went and put that in the freezer, cooled it off, and brought it down to this temperature. Would it taste the same?
Well, we can do a short follow-up.
Let's do that
in the future.
All right. But the question is,
it's decent warm. It really is. It reminds me of decent diner coffee.
Yeah.
When they get it right.
Yeah.
It's kind of making me want to eat breakfast right now.
Not bottom of the pot kind of.
No, like 10 in the afternoon. No, 10 in the morning on like a Saturday when it's busy, there's a lot of turnover, and the coffee is super fresh.
Not to be confused with midnight, just got out of a concert and needs some food.
I'm at Denny's and I just need to soak everything up with grease.
Now the question is, do we add some salt to this? Because
might as well do a pinch just to see if it makes a difference.
How much Alright, just
a tiny little pinch.
That'll do you. I think I might have almost added too much. Because there's not much left of this. Go figure.
No, but seriously.
Cold brew advantage, better flavor, virtually no bitterness to speak of, and I like chugging my caffeine because I love that feeling of when the caffeine first hits you.
And even then, it's cold brewed. I mean, it was the process of doing this. It's hot extraction, and then it's freeze dried, and we're just rehydrating it in cold water. But it goes right to smooth, delicious. Iced coffee. When you pour over ice, it's perfect.
No, it's worse with the salt. I put too much salt in it. I think it was because there was no bitterness to speak of, so it just went to salty.
Salt doesn't dissolve as well in cold water, so it could just be sitting there.
Well, how's that?
And it took the bitterness away, but now it just tastes weird. Like, it tastes like I'm trying to hide it.
No, I disagree. It did take that aspect away from it, and you kind of expect coffee to have that little to it, but taking that away, it does make it feel a little unusual.
Yeah, there's a void now that would normally be replaced with your cream and your sugar, or if it was a flavored coffee.
Take a bigger swig. Take a bigger swig and tell me how that compares to it, because to me it made it even better.
It tastes more like a coffee flavored something now instead, because that bitterness is. I mean, I don't drink coffee a lot, but that bitterness is something that I expect to be there unless I'm drowning it in cream and sugar
and
or
those
artificial sweetener.
And that had the bitterness and the coffee flavored something you're referring to is something that even people that aren't coffee enthusiasts or fanatics would still like coffee flavored ice cream or coffee flavored insert product here. Thought I'd be able to think of one in the time it took me to finish that sentence. I did not.
You know, there's like coffee flavored yogurts and anything you put coffee flavor in.
I was unaware of coffee flavored.
Yeah, there's some weird yogurt flavors out there, but that's for another show. And do they even have caffeinated yogurt?
They will. I've had caffeinated yogurt. It was not a product, but I will say it was regular style Greek yogurt taking Mio energy shot flavoring and squirting it in there and then stirring it together, sometimes throwing it in the freezer to make a frozen dessert for myself for a low carb lifestyle alternative. I made caffeinated yogurt.
Maybe we need to do a sub series of like hacked together caffeinated products. But again, it's something we'll think about. If it's something you want to see, let us know. And if you have ideas for stuff for us to do, that would be fantastic as well.
I'm not gonna make a Jello shot made out of Monster Energy though. We tried it, didn't work.
Yeah. All right, so as we're getting down there, it's time to think about scoring. This comes as such a surprise. I did not expect this to be as good as it did.
Same.
Both hot and cold, especially cold.
I had a vague idea with the cold, but it turned out
I didn't think it would dissolve, and I thought because of that, I thought it was going to be gritty and kind of like, you know, when you get some grounds into your coffee and you're like, I just got to power through this.
Yeah.
But no, this is fantastic.
One of those things that makes you go.
I mean, even if you're a coffee purist, I think you could enjoy this. I mean, again, we're not purists by any sense, but I urge you, go out, give this a try. Let us know in the comments below what you think. Your honest opinion, because I think this is fantastic. This is some of the best coffee I've ever had. Regardless of preparation. I'm saying, for me, my taste, I'm giving this a 9.5 out of 10. It's so easy to drink cold. The warm, I'm giving a 9. Because again, it's really tasty. Easily drinking it black. Fantastic. 9.5, 9.
There was a little bit too much of the bitterness for me for the warm, so I'm giving that an 8, and I'm going to give, with the cold water, a 9. And I don't even know why I'm not giving it a 10. I think it's because coffee is not my go-to energy drink of choice.
The more you just drink it because it's available.
But I will give this with the salt in it a 8.5.
Oh yeah, with the salt.
Yeah.
Does
that knock it up any?
No, it doesn't. In fact, it takes a half a point off of each, just because it took a little something away.
Maybe we needed shittier coffee for it to actually do something good.
I think so.
And as we wind down in the seconds, I guess I'll just say again that I am Rickshaw Tom.
I'm Eric the Red.
And this has been
News for the Caffeinated. Like, subscribe, join us on Facebook. We are at News for the Caffeinated. All of those other wonderful, fantastic things. And again, if you have things you want to do, clearly we are willing to do them. Josh, I hope this makes your day. I hope you try this yourself and let us know, because I know you will regardless. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this, and I'll probably be bringing these to work this week.
Hey, I'm stealing at least 2 of them.
Fine.
Thank you.
All right. So now let's for real. It's dark outside. It's time to go to bed, but I'm feeling nice.